without further delay, I would like to turn today's Microsoft Office 365 conference, Mytech U, Office 365 with the Microsoft experts, over to your first presenter, Nathan with iTech. Nathan, you have the floor.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for taking your time out of your day to join us while we record a session and go through what we call our Mytech U discussions, because that's what we want it to be, is a discussion to get some answers out for all the hot topics around Office 365. So I'm excited about the couple things we're going to put together today for you. Is one, we have Tom and Samir, and Tom is actually going to guide us through an introduction to Office 365, and we're going to hold a Q&A session at the end, and then Samir is actually going to guide us through a live demo. So I don't know if many people on the phone, I think, have heard of Office 365 and might be using certain pieces of it, but we're going to have Samir take us through a whole demo, and then please use your question and answer pane that was described so that we can answer any questions you have. If we're not able to get all the questions, we'll make sure to get to you offline afterwards. But with that said, I'm very excited to present to you Tom and Samir. And Tom, if you take it away with an introduction.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. It's great to be with you this morning. My name's Tom George. I'm with Microsoft. I'm the Business Development Manager for Office 365, and I'm a partner Business Development Manager, so I help the partners like Mytech, folks in the North Central, build their cloud practice. So with me today is Samir Kukreja, and Samir is a solution technology professional for Office 365, and he will actually be taking you through a live demo of the product. So today, our goal basically is to provide you with information on Microsoft's hosted solutions. So hosted solutions or cloud solutions can take on many meanings. So for clarification purposes, our purposes will be talking about Microsoft software as a service solution. So this includes email, web conferencing, collaboration, which are hosted by Microsoft, and you as a customer would subscribe to some variation of this service. So this is, not a technical session. Rather, the session is really made for decision makers. So with that, let's talk about a little bit about Office 365. Now, you may not know a whole lot about it, and a lot of folks have kind of a little misdemeanor. They think, oh, Office 365 is the new version of Office out there, 2013. But really, in reality, it is that. It's the new version of Office 2013, but it's much more. When we say Office 2013, we're usually referring to the fact that what we have is a on-premise version of Office, so that's the new version of on-premise Office. When you say Office 365, what we're referring to is, yes, you have the new version of Office 365. It can include the Office Pro Plus subscription, but it's also email and can include collaboration and our link communication as well. So it can be a number of things, but Office 365 will refer to the hosted solution. So why did we build Office 365? Now, it's nothing new to Microsoft. We've been hosting, email and solutions for a long time, but some things have changed over the last, few years. Last couple years now, we've got 80% of even small businesses that use smartphones out there. So tablets, smartphones, people traveling, moving, they need to be able to access their information, not just email, but, corporate information that might be on their internal websites. They want to be able to edit documents, communicate internally and externally. So we've got the new Office 365 that supports any number of smartphones out there, tablets, and fully movable to wherever you can be. So this is a anywhere access, as we like to talk to you about. The new version of Office is also a roaming version, and Samir will talk a little bit about this too. So you can be on your smartphone, or you can be on your computer on your Office. You can be on page 20 of a document, and you shut that down. You're moving, you're traveling off, maybe you're in a coffee shop or in a meeting, you pick up your smartphone, you open your Word app on your smartphone, and boy, you're right on page 20 of that Word document. So we have what we call an on-demand roaming and up-to-date development situation. So you've got your current apps with you at all times. And of course, Microsoft provides, world-class backup in terms of our data centers. We've got geo-redundant data centers. We save multiple copies of customers' data. So we've got the strictest standards as far as certifications through data center hosting as well. And we've got a 99.9% guaranteed uptime. So if we don't hit your metric, you guys get credited back. But that doesn't happen very often. From a social perspective, Samir will be showing you some of these too. We've added news feeds, microblogging. We've got our Yammer, which is our social tool for internal company communications and collaboration. We've added in Skype capabilities and SkyDrive so you can connect to folks that have Skype accounts, and internally with video conferencing, and externally outside the company as well. From a control perspective, we've got things that you can do to help prevent your company from sending out information that they don't want. You can have legal hold archiving. There's plenty of things that you can do. Microsoft manages the back end, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about upgrades and buying servers for Exchange. You don't have to worry about a disaster recovery plan. We provide all of that. And I'd say, from 3 years ago to now, I think some things have changed. Obviously, customers have always saved money moving from an on-premise Exchange or any kind of other hosting environment to Office 365. But now, besides having up-to-date software all the time, not having to worry about a disaster recovery plan, that anywhere access ability to get control and have information wherever you travel is really important to customers. So that's we have, and in terms of the popularity of Office 365, we are growing by leaps and bounds. We have customers in every vertical market that's out there, so it's applicable to anyone. We have also, you may be familiar with the state of Minnesota, has thousands of users on Office 365 currently. So let's just take a real short peek at what this is before I turn it over to Samir for the demo, and then we'll have a Q&A afterwards, and I think Nathan has a few questions for us that we'll want to answer. So Office 365, the full version, you always have the latest version of Office. You've got Office web apps too, so if you don't even have the full version of Office or you're on the road, you've got the version 2. As long as you have an internet connection, you can go in and view and edit applications. You've got the same familiar experience. It's nothing different. You've got the new version of Office, obviously, but it is a situation where you're already familiar with the user interface for the most part, and it's fully integrated with the rest of these applications. Link Online is our communications. It allows you to do secure IM through the company. You can even record IM. It is a corporate version of IM, so it's a secure version. You've got the ability to do screen sharing within your organization. You can do syndication with customers externally as well if they have Link, so they can syndicate and they can be on Link. They can have that presence capability to tell them, who's available and if they're available, if they're away from the office, things like that. And, of course, we do have the video conferencing as well. So a lot of folks that have other products out there, GoToMeeting or WebEx, you don't need to have that. You've got this built in. You're not paying extra for it. When you compare the pricing with those other solutions, this is a fraction of the cost. So it saves you money, and it's, again, an integrated technology instead of having a separate product to do video conferencing. SharePoint Online, and this will allow you to access documents, share file folders, has permissions. You can even have your business partners syndicate with your SharePoint site too, and you can give them permission to view a particular team site within there, or you can give them maybe they have read and write rights that you've given them. So One of the other popular things is SkyDrive, allow your users to manage and share their own documents, personal documents. That's been very easy to do, and of course, having these news feeds and other social capabilities within SharePoint that Samir will show you here in a few minutes. And finally, of course, Exchange Online. This is a 25 gigabyte mailbox, integrates with your calendaring. You don't really have to worry about managing, how full that mailbox is. 25 gig is quite a bit. And on top of that, we have products like the full Office 365 version that give you things like legal hold archiving that I mentioned, and data loss prevention, information rights management, so you can send out secure emails, things like that. So all these products can be purchased, together in a suite, or they can be purchased separately as well. So you've got flexibility, and then you can upgrade to versions as well as you need them if you want to do that. So there's plenty of flexibility there. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of glance into the product before Samir gets started, and think of questions that you might want to answer after Samir goes through his demo, and we'll be glad to answer them in a few minutes. So Samir, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Tom. So again, my name is Samir Kukreja, and I'm a technology solution professional supporting our partners, Mytech here, and I cover the Microsoft Online services. So for this demo, at this point, you should be seeing my screen here, and you can click F5 or Control-H to get a full screen view. So for this demo, I'll be using a fictitious user account of Karen Berg, who is a sales manager for a company called Contoso. And she's currently managing a corporate account called Northwind Traders. And what I hope to give you from this demo is to kind of give you a day in the life of how Office clients and server products help make Karen more effective and return value to her organization. So this is Karen Berg's PC here. It's running Windows 8, and this is her start screen here with some of the Office 365 apps on the left-hand side. There is the Link app, which is touch optimized. It's a Windows 8 store app. There is the new OneNote app, which is also touch optimized. And Karen stores her documents in SkyDrive Pro, which is for storing her work documents. And let me actually quickly show you here the SkyDrive Pro. And this is SkyDrive Pro, and these are her documents, her own private documents, and these are the documents that she shares with everyone. And the advantage of using SkyDrive Pro is that when she moves between devices, she can access these documents. So she can access these documents not only in offline mode, but also through a website, as these documents are stored on SharePoint Online. So like several of us, Karen starts her day within Outlook. And this is Karen's has Office 365 Pro Plus, and this is her Outlook client. Now, the first thing that you notice here is that, we've made significant enhancements within Outlook, and the focus here is on content. And you don't see the toolbar here at the top, and by default, it's in auto hide mode. However, if Karen wanted to use any of the commands related for this email, she can kind of quickly click on the title bar, and this brings the toolbar back. If her preference is actually to have this docked, with tabs and commands, she can switch to that mode as well. Now, Karen is currently in her office, and she's using an external monitor with a keyboard and a mouse. However, if she was at home and she has a touch laptop, she can switch the Outlook mode to touch. And what that does is that it creates more space between the commands and kind of optimizes the experience for touch. The other thing that you would notice here is that it brings up a new toolbar on the right-hand side, just making it easier to do some common tasks like responding to emails, deleting emails, moving emails, flagging emails, with one-click operation. Karen starts to scroll through her emails, and she can do one-touch operations, like say if you wanted to, delete an email, she wanted to flag an email, and she tends to flag the emails, so scan the emails and flag the emails, and then she comes back to, responding to emails. So she can filter on all her flagged messages, and the first email that she has here, which she wants to take an action on, is from Amy Alberts, and this was sent to all employees. And it's regarding a hiking trip that is being organized from a team building perspective. So you notice here that Outlook has actually detected that there is an action item that Karen may need to take on this email. And this is a capability that is new, and it is from the Outlook apps. And these applications can be made available by the administrator of the company, and pushed down from the administrator to the Outlook client, so they can make it available by default, or they can make it optional as well. And so it says here that please open the registration file and add the number of people that will be attending. So again, kind of, making the person do the action. Sometimes you get, these long emails and you're trying to figure out, hey, what is the action that you want from me? And Outlook is kind of making it easier for you that way. So let's look at another email here. And this is an email about happy hour, and it's another example that we commonly use is, say, you have a meeting with a customer, and they send you the address information, and logically you would want to see is where this address is, and Outlook kind of recognizes that there is an address in the body of the message, and it proposes that you use Bing Maps applications, and I can see where the location of the office is. I zoom in further, and maybe I want to see where the parking lot is, the nearest parking lot. And these are just examples. I mean, there are several store apps that are available at officestore.com, which the administrators can leverage and make it available for the end users. Let's look at another email here, and this is an email from Molly, and there are several people on this email, but essentially Karen is working with a team on a contract renewal for a company called Northwind Traders. And there's this email from Julian about the contract document, and Karen has actually taken place of the sales account manager, Casey Hicks, who's out on medical leave in this case. And Karen, has kind of a quick question related to the email, and she notices here that there are several people. Actually, in this case, Julian is away here, and she notices that Kelly is online, so she can click here and send. Sometimes you have an email and you have a quick question. And she's now into a link conversation with Kelly. Let's give it a second here for Kelly to respond.
Samir, while you're waiting on that, you are highlighting the yellow shows away. Is that these indicators work at all times for these folks? Can you describe what those? You knew that immediately, but I don't know if everyone else understands that the yellow on Julian meant that Julian was away.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So these indicators work all the time. So yellow means away. So say if, by default, if you do not move your mouse or keyboard, it will, change it to away, which means, maybe you have stepped away from your desk. Where this feature gets used a lot is, say if you are in a meeting and the meeting is on your Outlook calendar, then Link will automatically switch to show that in a meeting. Again, kind of helping the other people within your company know, what's your status. Are you available at this time or are you busy? And this presence, as we call it, is pervasive across the Office applications. If you are in Outlook, if you are maybe reviewing a document on a SharePoint online site, or directly from the Link application here as well. Okay, so Kelly responded, and now Karen wants to ask a question. She's joined this team new, and the question is, can you forward me emails and documents related to this Northwind Traders project? And give it a second here for Kelly to respond. And Kelly's response is that, let me add you to the Northwind Traders project SharePoint site, which will give you access to the site mailbox. So site mailbox is a new feature within Office 365. And what that allows you to do is you can have kind of a central location. Say if you're working on a project, and related to a project, you have emails and documents. And you can have this central view here. So within Outlook, now Kelly having added Karen to this SharePoint site, she can click Northwind Traders here, and she can see all the emails related to this project that they have been working on, and all the documents. And these documents are actually stored on a SharePoint Online site. Okay. And the usual Outlook features work. So in this case, say, Karen feels that this document that Julian sent is going to be useful for everybody in the team to view it. So she can, drag and drop. So she can take this document and drag it to the site mailbox. And at that point, it will be uploaded in the background. You see here, it's uploading it. It's uploading it in the background to the SharePoint Online site. Okay. So moving along here, as Karen is kind of reviewing the emails, there's an email from Renee Lowe to Karen Berg, and it has a certain sensitive information. There is sensitive information as in a credit card number, and the company has a policy that you cannot forward emails with the credit card information outside the company, and so in this case, Karen is kind of, new to the team and new to the company, and, she's still kind of, learning all the processes, and they have an external vendor in this case who she knows can actually validate this information. And let's see here. And, with Outlook policy tips, she gets a warning that, this recipient is outside of the organization. And there are also data leakage DLP policies built within Exchange Online, which kind of prompt the Karen that, this email contains sensitive information and the organization is actually going to block you if you try to send this message. So again, kind of helping the end user make the right decision and this is enabled by the exchange feature, the new feature of data leakage protection, which is built on transport rules. So, so let me kind of show you some more new features. We built this new feature of peaks, and a scenario here that I kind of use it in my day life is say if I'm on a phone call, and I'm also reading kind of an email from a customer or a partner, and the partner says, hey, how's your availability on Friday? So without having to kind of take the focus away from the email that I'm reading or my inbox, I can quickly click the Friday and see I just have a 9 to 9:30, and then after that I'm available. Another way that I use these peaks is people. So say, sometimes you get an email from someone, say in this case, there's an email to Karen from Renee Lowe, and she quickly wants to see, what Renee's title is. So, she knows here that she's an account manager. She knows she's offline at this time. So, the best way to reach out to her is, not obviously link, but, at this point, just send her an email. And she can kind of also look at the org chart, see what's new, what memberships he has, etc. Okay, so moving from Outlook, and let me switch to SharePoint, and this is where, so this is part of Office 365, and this is the Office 365 portal. Karen can access her emails, her calendaring information. Let me see if I have it. Yeah, so this is Outlook web app. So if you buy the E1 subscription or a standalone plan, which does not include the Office, you get OWA access, allows you to see the email and calendaring information through a browser. This is the SkyDrive view that I was earlier talking about. So Karen's own emails, on documents, and the documents that she shares with everyone within her team. And we've kind of made it easier to do certain tasks. So as an example, say, let me pick another one here. So say if Karen wanted to share this presentation with other people, we've made it easier. So she can first if there are 10 presentations and you quickly want to see, which is the right one, you can see it in kind of, preview mode here. You can quickly go to edit and edit it in a browser. And from a sharing perspective, you would click share here. And then you can decide whether you want the person to have an edit permission or a view-only permission. And you can share it internally within your company, and you can also share it externally with people as well. And then you can decide whether you want them to sign in or you just want to make it kind of, an anonymous so that anybody can access it. So this is an improvement that we have done over the previous version, just made sharing very easy. Now, moving to a team site. So I mentioned earlier that, Karen is working on this Northwind Traders project, and this is the team site that the team is leveraging for sharing documents. There is the site mailbox. So the emails related to this project are stored, can be accessed from the SharePoint site as well. There are news feeds that Karen subscribes to, and there's a post here from Kelly that she happened to meet the VP of Sales at Northwind Traders, and if Karen likes it, she can say, like this. If she wants to post a reply, like, are there any updates that you can share with the team? And maybe she wants to copy the sales director, who in this case happens to be Julian, on this. And she also wants this post to be discoverable for anybody who's actually looking for information on Asia Retail Initiative. So that's, and so she can post it. So the usual social capabilities like, @ and hashtags, they're available within SharePoint Online. This is SharePoint Online news feeds. Yammer takes it, further step more deeper for internal collaboration and communication. Now, from a documents perspective, this is where the documents of this project are stored. So this is a document library. And so let's look at some examples here. As Karen is kind of reviewing these documents, she notices that Julian, made some updates to the contract renewal document, so she can open it within Office web apps. And so she doesn't need kind of, Office installed on this, and she can, kind of see, what updates Julian has made. If she wants to edit the document, she can further edit it using the PowerPoint application, or she can edit it within a browser using the PowerPoint web app. So let's give it a second here to load. And she also notices here, if you saw this yellow toast pop up here, that Julian is editing. And this is the feature that we have called as, co-authoring capabilities, where people can simultaneously, work on documents. And she's scanning this document, and if there are any suggestions that she wants to make to Julian, she can instant message right out of the SharePoint site. Similarly, PowerPoint, there is the Word web app, which also allows you to do editing in the Word application, as well as using the Word web app for lightweight changes. And she notices here that, there is a very interesting pie chart that she actually would like to be added as part of the PowerPoint deck. So she can quickly kind of, find Julian here. And in this case, Julian is away. So, what she can do is she can quickly tag Julian for status change alerts. And what that means is that as soon as Julian will, return to the desk or is, available, she will kind of know that, Julian is available. And he noticed here that the presence changed to green, and she sends him a message. Oops. And another announcement I wanted to kind of mention here is that we've made is this tabbed conversation views. So, sometimes you have like several IM conversations going on at the same time, and it just makes it easier for you to make sure that you're typing in the right window here. So in this case, let's give it a second here for Julian to respond. Okay, and it shows here unread. And she wants to ask, if there is the pie chart that we could add here. And she wants to kind of make Julian kind of aware, what she's referring to. And I'm going to speed up a little bit in the interest of time here. But essentially what I'm wanting to show here is that through Link, you can do desktop sharing. And so I'm sharing this desktop out. So if you notice here that, the boundary is kind of yellow, kind of showing, what areas I'm sharing. There is the video capabilities. At this point, I'm actually connecting to a different laptop, which is docked, so I cannot show you that feature, but essentially you do have the peer-to-peer video capabilities, audio capabilities. You can also do like shared notes. So if you are in a meeting and you want to take some common notes within OneNote, you can do that as well. So that's pretty much it, what I wanted to kind of show you. So we kind of covered several things here. I showed you the Outlook experience, the new modern Outlook experience, which is touch optimized as well. Showed you the new SharePoint and some of the social features. Talked about the SkyDrive capability, which you can leverage for taking your documents and roam with your documents, and how you can leverage some newer features like site mailboxes and SharePoint for collaborating on projects. And maybe you have an intranet site which you can also build on SharePoint to share information with the entire company as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nathan for any questions that have come up in the Q&A. Nathan, you now have the floor.
Thank you, Samir. I'm going to start it off with a couple questions that I wrote down based on the demo here, and pose these questions to either you or Tom, whichever you feel like you could post in. And then if anyone attending online has some additional questions they'd like to ask, by all means, please use your question and answers capability live meeting, and we will make sure to either answer them here online in the next few minutes or connect with you offline and make sure your questions are answered. So, Tom, it looks like there's a lot of different features. I imagine that if I'm not, if my organization doesn't have a use for SkyDrive today, but we really want to move our email to a hosted environment, or maybe maybe we're not worried about email right now because our email server is fine, but gosh, we'd really like to use the features of Link. Are there ways that an organization can just a la carte pick what they want, or what's the best recommendations, or how have organizations been leveraging the different features available in Office 365?
Yeah, there's total flexibility, and we have what we call, there are 3 plans. There's an enterprise plan, and the enterprise plan consists of many different products, and we have users, everything from 1 user to several hundred users that are on the enterprise plan. So it allows you, if you want to just start out in Exchange, you can start out with just Exchange. If you want to add mix and match Exchange with one of the suite products that include the Office Pro Plus, or we even have a kiosk version that's kind of a light version of Exchange, and it can also include a SharePoint access as well for users that don't have dedicated workstations, so they're just mainly viewing. In fact, Starbucks uses that for their baristas. They don't need full 25 gig email and capabilities of editing and SharePoint. So they've got capabilities of doing email, and they've got a relatively small email box, and they can go in and check their messages, check the SharePoint site for specials and things that they need to get ready for that day. So yes, total flexibility. We do have a couple products. One is the small business premium, and the other one is the mid-sized business product, and those are more standalone products and can't be mix and match with the enterprise plan. So as a customer, I would make sure you check with Mytech to make sure you're looking at the right plan that's going to give you the flexibility that you need, or the features and functionality that you need.
Great, thanks, Tom. There's a couple of common questions that I know that I hear from customers, and if you could shed some light, it'd be great. One of them is on security, as far as, if you're in a professional services organization, you're bound to be dealing with confidential information, and if you're securing or storing information, whether it be either email or, say, SharePoint Online or even the SkyDrive, what kind of confidence can you give to folks that are considering Office 365 with regard to the security of their data?
Yeah, I think, I'll answer part of that, and I'll turn it over to Samir. But, as I mentioned, from a data center perspective, we have the tightest security, the certifications. We have, as far as the data integrity, we have multiple copies of customers' data on multiple servers. We've got geo-redundant data servers across the United States and even overseas. So that is, we've got spam and antivirus protection there. So, there's a lot of security. We do have a trust center. And Samir, I'll let you go ahead and expand on that.
Sure, Tom. So, when Tom mentioned that we have this Office 365 Trust Center, and I just pulled out a page of our public website, which kind of, goes into some of our security practices. But essentially, from a data center perspective, we have third-party validations as well. The data centers are ISO 27001 and SAS 70 certified. There is, one of the questions that I get is, you're hosting it in a multi-tenant environment, but what we make sure is that there is logical isolation of data between the customer's tenants. The other question that I commonly hear is, who can view my data? I mean, the answer is that, your data is your data. It is private. We don't, Microsoft is not looking at the data. I mean, we are not doing any data mining. I mean, this is an enterprise class service, which is, separate from our consumer offering. And then, from an email perspective, I mean, there is, encryption at rest. And if you connect using the Outlook client, the connection is secured. It's RPC over HTTPS. The demo that I showed you, it's all over SSL connection. So essentially, the security that commonly banks use, I mean, for accessing, say if you want to access your bank account, you're using the same level of security here for Office 365 services. And you can kind of, read more on this website if you search on Office 365 Trust Center. I mean, this page is actually just off the Trust Center here, relentless on security. And also wanted to point out this page here where it shows independently verified. This kind of has all our third-party validations as well.
That's a good point. And we've got, there's multiple federal government organizations that use Office 365, as I mentioned, state of Minnesota as well. We've got, millions of users out there. So, they've fully vetted out our services over the last few years, that's for sure.
Well, thanks. So I do want to just make a note that it is 12 o'clock, and we typically end the session at 12 o'clock. However, I believe that we've got some good questions. So if Tom and Samir, if you've got a little extra time, I'd love to continue. We've got some good questions here. I think they can provide some more valid content.
Sure. Hang on.
Fantastic. So I do want to at least pause and allow those of you who may have only planned until 12 o'clock, I want to say thank you for joining us. And by all means, if you want to contact myself or Mytech, anyone at Mytech will be happy to answer any further questions. But for those who can stay on, we're going to stay on for maybe up to another 10 or 15 minutes just answering some of the questions. I believe we have some good content that Tom and Samir can bring to the table. So with that said, about security, let's talk about, I know, one of the factors that weighs into the cost, when you're looking at the different costs associated with whether you have your own internal systems like an Exchange server on-premise versus an Exchange server, hosting an Exchange with Office 365, is the cost of backup and archive and things like that. Mm-hmm. Can you speak to how does Office 365 handle the backup of data, archiving, legal hold, things like that, as it relates, to email and online storage?
Okay. Samir, do you want to?
Yeah, sure. I can take that one. So essentially, from a backup perspective, Microsoft is taking care of all that on your behalf. We have continuous replication of mailbox data that is happening within the data center as well as, to our backup data centers as well, just in case there is a wide-scale failure. And we make almost instantaneous copies of the mailboxes. So should something, like a major disaster happen, like, say an earthquake or, which kind of takes down one of our data centers. And I'm not saying that, we have a data center in a location where it's prone to earthquake, but just using that as an example, then, we have a fairly instantaneous copy of your mailbox at that time. And all this information is publicly available. And I wanted to kind of quickly show this site here where you can, get answer to this question and several other questions. And this is off our TechNet page. It's Office 365 service descriptions, which has great information and description on each of our services, like Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, Link Online. And here we kind of, document here what is, our high availability story and how we do kind of business continuity. And some of the other aspects that, what if a mailbox is deleted, how much time do you have to kind of recover it, and some other information here. I wanted to touch on the archiving question. So essentially, if you were to buy, say, the E1 plan or a standalone plan like Exchange Online Plan 1, you get 25 gig of mailbox space, which is, huge space. I know when I joined Microsoft, I had a 5 gigabyte mailbox, and until, before I joined this Office 365 team. But you can take this further. So if you were to buy the archiving add-on, or you buy a plan which includes the archiving, essentially at that point you would get an unlimited storage space. We kind of put in a default there at 100 gig of additional space, but should you need more space than 100 gig, you can get it extended through technical support. Now, our archiving, yes,
Samir, that's 100 gig per mailbox, right?
100 gig per mailbox,
which is an extreme amount of space.
Yeah, for a plan which includes the archive, correct. Now, the archiving that we offer is in-place archiving, and what that means is that the archive mailbox is also stored on the Exchange server, and which makes it easier for the end users to kind of access it. So, we're not kind of journaling to a third party or a different place. You can access it directly from your Outlook client and Outlook web app as well. So, same Outlook features like drag and drop. Say if you wanted to move a message from the archive to your main mailbox, you wanted to reply or forward the message, you can do that. So we've kind of focused our archiving feature set from an end user perspective, number one. But we are also kind of thinking about, how do we help our customers meet compliance requirements. So as an IT manager or a compliance officer, you can do e-discovery of messages. You can put mailboxes on in-place hold. And what that means is that, say, if you were monitoring an employee or in case of a litigation, you want to kind of hold the emails in place, you can do that. And we kind of extended further as well from email, like, you can do e-discovery on documents, which are stored on SharePoint, and even link IM conversations.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, too, that, a lot of customers are concerned about having, their data hosted somewhere else and, I don't have my server in here, but, this is the best disaster recovery and backup solution that you can buy. Customers, you don't always have good backup plans, and even if you do have a backup plan, if you have anything that's remotely close to what we can provide to you from a backup and disaster recovery plan, it's going to cost you, an arm and a leg. And this is, just part of the service that we provide. You have all of this, all this backup and data center certification and services available to you. So just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I would agree, Tom. That's, when every time on that point, why I brought the backup question up is because that's oftentimes the local backup and then the offsite storage of that backup is a significant cost factor in having Exchange on their on-premise. In the cost analysis that we've done for many customers, it is more cost-effective to host their email with Office 365 because they're not having to buy the local storage, they're not having to buy the local backup, they're not having to maintain it, they're not having to buy the licensing, they're not having to do upgrades every 3 to 5 years. So that's been a significant cost advantage there. So I agree with that. So let's talk about compatibility real quick. So if an organization already owns, let's say Office, say Office 2007. And they want to use an E1 plan or something that has basically Exchange online, but yet they already own the local version, and they're not necessarily wanting to buy the Office through the Office 365, the new version. Can you talk about compatibility and recommendations in that regard for organizations, for people?
Yeah, there's full compatibility. I'll let Samir answer this too, but yeah, no problem with that. We've got plenty of customers that are using Office 2007, 2010, fully integrate with the solution. You just don't have the streaming version that you get with 2013 and some of the features that Samir showed today. But yeah, fully compatible with 2007 and current. And Samir, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so if you are on Office 2007, the supported version is with Service Pack 3. If you are on 2010, then you need Service Pack 1 on it. And the current version, which is Office 365 Pro Plus or Office 2013, if you have a VL version, that's all are supported as well. But in terms of feature set, obviously the latest version will give the most features, touch optimized, and 2007 has some limitations, the Outlook in terms of the archiving, but the workaround is then you can use the OWA, which would give you access to the archive. But 2010 and the current version, absolutely, you can use it with 365.
Great. So if they have Office 2007 Service Pack 3 or current, you mentioned 2010 or Service Pack 1, they shouldn't have any compatibility issues. It'll be supported. Understanding some of the feature sets might not be fully available in older versions, and then they can choose to make that transition to either a hosted version or a volume license version at some point in the future. So thank you for that feedback. So staying on the line of compatibility, and then I might have one other question after this, but staying on the line of compatibility, can we talk about mobility, right? So I know Microsoft has, in their commercials they've talked about they have the Windows Phone, but obviously there's a lot of iPhone and Android users out there. Can you talk about the compatibility and the interaction and the feature sets that work with the mobile devices and the Office 365 solution?
Go ahead, Samir.
Okay, I can take that one. So from a mobile device perspective, we support a variety of devices. Windows Mobile, iPhones, iOS devices, and Android devices. Essentially, we are leveraging the ActiveSync protocol, which synchronizes email information, calendaring information, and contact information as well. We recently also announced the Office Mobile for iPhone users, and which will be available for if you have a license of Office 365 Pro Plus, you can download that store app and you will have the capability for viewing and editing of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint documents on the iPhone. The differentiator being, you can use the Windows Phone, which comes with the Office Mobile, and you don't need any specific plan with the Windows Phone, but you do need for the iPhone. But the capability is now available, which is great. Now, there are several phone providers have store apps. So as an example, say if you wanted to do instant messaging and link from your phone. There is the Link Store app, which is on the Android phone and the iOS device. There is also the SkyDrive Pro app, so you can, take your documents with you as well. So we've got a pretty solid story when it comes to kind of, supporting devices which are non-Microsoft, and also tablet devices. So if you have kind of an iPad, then, using Office web apps, you can do viewing and editing. There is the Link Store app as well. You can use the Mail app for connecting via ActiveSync and have your email, calendar, and contacts synchronized as well.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. I know those being able to use across platforms is definitely something I know is a lot of people ask those questions, so I appreciate that. The last question, I think we probably want to wrap it up, is relative to the different plans. I know that you can mix and match the plans, Tom. I know you elaborated on that a little bit in the beginning. But there's been some changes in the last, 6 months or so relative to not-for-profit plans, and there's some discounts and plans available for not-for-profits. I know some of the folks online right now fall into that category. Can you shed a little bit of light on that, Tom?
Yeah. We've had a discount plan. The nonprofit process has changed a little bit. It's more of an automated process now, but the nonprofit process would require you as a customer going through one of our partners like Mytech to assist you there. Typically, if you're a 501c3, you can send in an application and your 501c3 certification to us, and then again, there's a process that Mytech would enter this information on your behalf. Typically, healthcare facilities are not approved for nonprofit status, but everybody else that's 501c3 usually does get through. If you're already approved through open pricing, through volume licensing, you still have to go through this process for online services. But typically, as far as discounting is concerned, once you're approved, we provide, if you're using the E1 plan, it's totally free to nonprofit users. If you're using the E3, which includes the Office Pro Plus, it's discounted 75%, or you're paying 25% of the regular price, which is $5 per user per month. So very good. We've got tons of nonprofit organizations out there that use Office 365, and you get it discounted. It actually, once everything is through, you get amendment, and it actually gets taken off your billing. That's how it works on the back end. So did I answer that? Any other questions on that, Nathan? Or?
Yep, no, that's good.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I know there's a lot of not-for-profits that have asked those questions, and I think the E3 plan the fact that it includes Office and all those hosted products and their backup and the management, all those solutions for $5 per user per month, it's a phenomenal opportunity for not-for-profits, so I wanted to touch on it. So thank you for offering some clarification, and that there is an approval process that you have to go through that we can definitely help with, and we've done that for several other organizations. So.
And one caveat to that, if you have thousands of users, there is a little slight higher cost if you've got, I think it's over 3,000 or 5,000 users. So, but it's a minimal increase in that pricing, just to in full transparency.
Sounds good. I appreciate that. Well, at this point, we are well beyond our 45-minute time frame. And I would like to thank for the attendees that stuck around for the additional Q&A. Appreciate your time and having some flexibility with us here this morning, or this afternoon now for many of us. Say this will be recorded and put on Mytech's website. If you have any further questions, Office 365 is definitely a significant training ground that we've been making sure that all of our team is trained on it and able to execute it not only from a deployment perspective but from a support perspective. And so any questions you have, we've probably run across them before, and if we don't have the answer, we'll make sure we can reference great resources like Tom and Samir to make sure we get the right answers to you. So thanks again for participating, and we'll be signing off today. Tom and Samir, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.